All right, good morning, friends. We're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Mrs. Kreitzer. I'm so glad you are here to join us this morning. We are on our third lesson, and today we're going to be talking about topic sentences for our middle paragraphs and our transition words. I want you to go ahead and get your folder. If you've created a folder with all of your passages and the things that we've done so far, I'm going to do a quick review. So far, we've learned how to plan. We've made sure that we look through the texts, read them, box and label. We have our coding system where we box and label all the things that we want to. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen or switch my screen and show you that our boxing and labeling looks like this. And I know Miss Jones went over this last week. All of this information on the lungs is for our T1. This is where I'm going to get information for T1A. And then if we keep going, I have this information for T1B and then T3A. And then I'm coming into the brain essay and I have all of this information for T2. It goes all the way to paragraph 8. But then right here, I have the cerebrum and cerebellum for point A and the brainstem for point B. And then my T3B is here in the brain. Okay, so I have all of my points outlined. Remember, I showed you that we boxed and coded everything, boxed and labeled everything, and I showed you that each one of these will be a paragraph. I rewrote it for us so it didn't look as sloppy. And then we did the same thing for the Rainforest text set. Again, I remade this so it's not as messy. We have our outline. Our rainforest is our central idea. We always want to come back to that. We want to make sure that we're saying that repeatedly throughout our essays so that the reader understands what it is that we are writing about. And then T1 is the tropical rainforests. T2 is the temperate rainforests. And in T3, I'm going to be talking about saving the rainforests. And each one of our supporting points gives more information about that specific topic. Remember, there's where I showed you we'll have 5 total paragraphs at the end. When I look in here, all of this information is about T1. But then I broke it up, and this is for point A. This is for point B. Then for the temperate rainforests, T2, I have all of this information, but I said right here, I'm going to talk about the trees or the plants, all the things that in the temperate rainforest we can find, and then point B, the animals. And then we utilized our second text set, Saving the Rainforest, right here, source 2. And all of this is going to be used for T3. And I found 2 great points that I can talk about. In T3 for point A, I'm going to talk about deforestation. And then in point B, I'm going to talk about the water cycle. So remember, your outline is your roadmap. Your outline is your roadmap. It's what guides you so that you will remember what you're writing about. If you have questions about it, while you're writing, you're able to quickly go back and look to say, oh goodness, what was it that I was going to write about the tropical rainforests in point B? You have that right here on your roadmap. It's going to be about plants. So let's come back and review the I paragraph that Miss Jones did with you last week. Remember, we have 3 things that we include in our I paragraph. We have our hook. We include our 3 topics that we're going to write about, and we have a closing sentence. And remember, we are really big on highlighting or color coding so that we can remind ourselves, did I include these 3 parts? Did I include something that I am supposed to remember to include? And so right now we're looking at the human body, and our 3 topics are lungs, brain, and protect. And so our hook, remember, can be a general question, a startling statistic, another fact that you learned. And remember, you can use the text, those general paragraphs that you find, they can be a good place for you to start and borrow some words from to make your own sentence. And so what we said for our I paragraph to introduce what we're going to write about, our hook is, even as I sit and write this essay, my organs are working to keep me alive, and I think that is fascinating. I talked about the organs. I'm later in my closing sentence going to remind my readers this is about the body. And I just was so fascinated that as we are working and writing, all of the things that we're going to write about are happening without us even thinking about it. Then in my green sentence that I highlighted, that is just about the brain and the lungs and why we should protect it. Remember, those are my 3 topics: lungs, brains, protect. So you can use this as like a little checklist in my I paragraph. Did I include lungs, the word brain, the word protect? Learning about the brain and lungs and how they should be protected is very important. Lungs, brain, and protect. So we're still doing great. And then the body is an amazing machine. Remember, we always want to go back to the, look at this. See, I always am going to find something that I forget. We always want to go back and remind ourselves of what the central idea is, what we're telling the reader about. Okay, so we did the same thing for rainforests. You came up with an I paragraph with Miss Jones for rainforests. We've written it right here, but it does the same thing. We have our hook, which is a general question in this case. We include the 2 types of rainforests and why it's important to save them. And then we have a sentence at the bottom that, again, just restates our central idea. Remember, we always want to go back to that. We're going to practice that as we start moving into middle paragraphs. So what I want you to do is I want you to keep your outline near you. I want you to go ahead and have that beside you. But we are going to learn today about middle paragraphs. Middle paragraphs are the big points in your essay. It's where you're going to get all of the supporting details and information. And we're also going to learn about transition words. So if you look at, I'm going to put this one back on the screen, rainforest. If you look at our essay, remember I said each one of these is its own paragraph. I highlighted that for us when we first wrote our outline. Each one is a paragraph. For T1, T2, T3, and the C paragraph, we want to make sure that we are transitioning through our essay in a sensible way, in a way that everyone can understand. I'm going to talk about this first, this second, this third, and then I'm going to conclude. I'm going to write about the rainforest in general again at the end. And so we have a list here at Top Score. You probably have the same list. Your teachers have created lists with you. Teachers, we're going to include this sheet that I'm going to show next in a link for you in the recording. But for right now, I want to show you that we have this list of transition words. And you can see, I'm going to get my highlighter, you can see that these are all words that we can use for our first middle paragraph, for our T1, no matter what we're writing about, no matter if the topic is or the prompt is informative and expository, or if it's argumentative, if it's narrative. Any essay that you're writing, you're going to use something from here, or maybe you have one on your own that you and your classmates have come up with. Then we are going to use some for the second middle paragraph. This is for the T2 paragraph. We're going to use something else for the third middle paragraph. And then we have the conclusion paragraph as well. So as we're writing our T sentences today, we're going to include that. I have a little code that I want you to write, and I'll show you on our next paper. But when we are writing our T1, we can start with to begin with. We can start with, to start off, my number one reason. I want you to see this word right here, my number one reason. This would be for an opinion or argumentative essay, not for an informative or expository. So we're not going to choose that one today. To kick off, for starters, first and foremost, or if you are struggling and you just cannot think of one, I want you to just use first. Okay, so that's what I'm going to use in my first paragraph. So let's turn this over, and I am going to talk first about the human body. So if you have a sheet of paper in front of you, I want you to just kind of divide it to look a little bit like this. And we're going to go through our essay, and I'm going to help us write just our T sentences, just the start. Now, when we write a T sentence, we want to include three parts. We want to include the topic that we're writing about. We want to include the prompt, and we want to include a transition word, what we just went over. And so I am going to begin already with, remember I circled the word first? I'm going to write the word first. Now, I could go ahead down here to T2 and T3 and write second and third, and that is perfect. But we're going to stay right here on T1 lungs for just a minute. And I am not sure what to use as my topic sentence. So sometimes if I get stuck, I want to come back into my essay, and I want to show you that I have highlighted this sentence. It's in the first paragraph, like the third line down. It starts right here, and it says, you have 2 lungs, and they make up one of the largest organs in your body. Now, I am writing a general statement as my topic sentence for this paragraph, but remember the whole paragraph is going to be about lungs. Remember, my point A and point B are breathing in and breathing out. If you look back on your outline, you'll be reminded of that. And so I want to be non-specific in this sentence. My topic sentence does not include my point A and point B. Okay, my topic sentence just includes the word lungs, the overall idea of what I'm going to write about. So first, I'm going to come back to that sentence, and I remember that it says I have 2 lungs, that they are one of the largest organs. So I'm going to borrow a couple of those words and create my topic sentence to say first, the human body has 2 lungs. Okay, now I could have added a little bit more. I could have said the human body has 2 lungs, which take up a large amount of space in your chest. I could have written the human body has 2 large organs called the lungs. I bet you guys as a class, or maybe you're working in groups, I bet you can come up with a lot more, but I'm just going to write a basic sentence for today, and that's it. Those are the 3 parts of a topic sentence. I've covered up my highlighter. I have my transition word, and I'm going to write a code right here. T, that's my transition word. Then I have the prompt, what I'm writing about, the central idea, the big idea, and that is the human body. And then I'm writing about my topic, what I'm writing about in that paragraph. So let's see, I haven't used pink. So I have 3 colors, I have 3 things, my transition, my prompt, and my topic. This is how I want you to remember, have I included all of the parts of my topic sentence? A transition word, the prompt, and my topic. And when I come down to the next paragraph, I can do the same thing. I'm going to make a checklist for myself. You can make your checklist like this, horizontally, or you can do it vertically. And remember, when we look back at our chart that has the transition words, if you can think of something fancier, that's great. But if you cannot, let's come back over here. We're looking at our second one. We can say, in addition, secondly, furthermore. Okay, but I'm just going to, for today, I'm just going to make it really easy for us. And we're just going to write second. And this time, I'm writing about the brain. I'm not writing about the lungs this time. So if I go back to my human body text set, remember, your teachers will love to hear you flipping pages as you're writing. That means that you're getting evidence from the text that you're supposed to be writing about. I love this first sentence. What looks like a big gray mushy head of cauliflower? That is a funny sentence to me, and I think that's a great starter. But I can't steal what's written in this text. I have to kind of make it my own. But this sentence, every action your body does starts in your brain, that sentence gives me a great idea because it tells me the big picture of what the brain does, and that's what my topic sentence is about. My topic sentence is to introduce what it is I'm about to write about, that topic for that paragraph. So I'm going to come back to my T sentence and I'm going to say second, the brain, let me come back to my text. The brain performs every action in your body. The brain performs every action in your body. I could say the brain controls every action in your body. There are lots of words that I'm sure you guys can think of, synonyms that could be interchanged with those. You guys might want to have like maybe a contest to see who can come up with a different T sentence. Does it cover all three things? Now I'm going to come to my checklist. Does it have a transition word? It sure does. I start out with second. Now, does it cover my prompt? What is it that I'm writing about? Talks about my body. Sometimes I don't have to say human body. I can just say body. That still covers it. And then what is it that my topic is? What is it that I'm writing about? My central idea here in this paragraph, I'm writing about the brain. So you can see, you can take your checklist and say, I have a transition word. I have my prompt. I included my topic. And now you know that you wrote a great topic sentence. Now I'm going to come down here to protect, T3. I'm going to come back to my text set as well. I'm writing about the lungs and the brain in this, but remember, I'm not using these words when I'm in my topic sentence. I'm just telling the reader, I am about to tell you in this middle paragraph all about ways that we can protect our body. And so I found this key phrase right here. It is smart to. This is all about protection. This is for my T3. And then I can do the same thing for my brain if I come to paragraph 9. And this is again for my T3. This is for my B section, but this is all about protection. So I could maybe write a question if I wanted to, but I am going to just think about that sentence right here. It is smart to think about ways to protect your body. So let's come back to our transition word list. When I'm thinking about the third middle paragraph, I can say last but not least, furthermore. Remember, I'm not going to use the word reason this time because reason is about an argumentative essay or an opinion essay. And those are not words that I need to use. This is an informative or expository text. So remember, I said I'm just going to pick easy ones this time. So I'm going to use third. And then what did I say? It is smart to. It is smart. What's another word I could use for smart? Wise. It is wise to protect your body. Okay, a basic sentence. I don't need to be fancy. I can be fancy as I become a more mature writer. I might want to change that, add some things to it. But right now, as we're just learning, I'm going to be very basic. So we're going to go do our checklist, okay? So T, P, T, my transition word, my prompt, and my topic. So let's see if I have my transition word. I do. I have the word third. Let's see if I have prompt, which is my prompt is my human body. So here we go. There we go. And then my topic is, for T3 is protect. And so I found the word protect. Okay, so now I can go to my checklist and I can say I have a transition word, I have my prompt, my central idea, what I'm writing about, and then I have my topic, my main idea for that third paragraph. Now I've included transitions for those 3 paragraphs for the middle 1, 2, and 3. But I also have told the reader that I'm still writing about the human body. I'm still writing about the human body. I'm still writing about the human body. But I've shown separation. I've given the reader the idea that my first topic is going to be about the lungs, my second topic will be about the brain, and my third topic is how to protect those things. So you might come up with some others of your own, but right now we're going to quickly go through in our last few minutes the rainforest. This time, you guys can pick a different word from me for a transition as we go through this. I'm going to move my human body essay out of here and get my rainforest essay. If you have your rainforest papers, that's great. I want you to grab them right now. I want you to remember that T1, and I've written it here for you. You might want to write this on the side of your paper. T1 is about the tropical rainforests. T2 is about the temperate rainforests. And T3, is about saving the rainforest. Now remember, I do not include this inside of my topic sentence. I'm telling the reader this is the big idea that I'm going to be writing about. And this time, I am going to pick a different transition word from each of the lists. Now, I have them in my head because I've done this several times, and so I'm just going to pick this. I'm not going to show this back on the screen, but you can copy mine if you don't have any other ideas in your head, or if you do, you can certainly use those. So for T1, remember, I can have my little checklist right here. I can make it vertical, horizontal. I can put little check marks. I can put X's on things, whatever it is that you need to do to remind yourself that you're writing the transition word and you're including the prompt and the topic. And boys and girls, I'm so sorry I forgot to say this. You do not have to have the prompt first and then the topic. You can have the transition word, the topic, and then the prompt, or the prompt and then the topic. Either one, as long as you're including both things. So I'm going to use, remember, I can borrow some words. I'm going to come into my text and I'm going to look at my tropical rainforest. Remember, I'm down here at T1. This is what I'm writing. I'm writing a topic sentence for T1. And I'm looking at this first sentence and it says that half of the plants and animals on the whole earth are in a tropical rainforest. I think that's very important. I want to be able to talk about that. And I remember that my point A and point B is all about the plants and animals. So I'm going to say first and foremost. I think that this is a very important thing to say. A very important point to note. And so I'm making a transition word or selecting a transition word that shows it's very important. First and foremost, first and very important. First and foremost, tropical rainforests are home to over half the world world's plants and animals. Okay, now I'm going to go back and check. I'm going to check that I have a transition word. I've included the prompt, and I'm talking about the topic. So I have my transition word first and foremost. Okay, now what's my prompt? My prompt, my central idea, what I'm writing the whole essay about is rainforests. So I'm going to include that. And then what is my topic? My topic, what have I not used? Pink, is tropical. And I know that right here I used the word tropical. So now I've checked and I have all three. First and foremost, tropical rainforests are home to over half the world's plants and animals. Now I can go in and be specific. Let's go to 2. I can say, in addition, and I can check this off as well. I wrote a transition word, in addition. And then let me borrow some words. I'm going to come over here to my temperate rainforest. This is starting in paragraph 5, and I've highlighted a sentence. It's like 4 lines down, 5 lines down. They are wet, but not as rainy. So I want to show a bit of a contrast. Tropical rainforest and temperate rainforest are 2 different places, 2 different climates or biomes. And I learned that in the article. I want to show that to my reader. So in my head, I'm going back to my plan. Remember, this is my roadmap, my guide, and I remember that I'm talking about animals and plants in both of these, and I want to be able to show that they have a bit of a contrast. So I'm going to say, in addition, temperate, that's my topic, temperate rainforests I could say have many similarities to tropical. I could say have many differences from tropical, but I'm going to combine that. I'm going to say, in addition, temperate rainforests are similar but different. In addition, temperate rainforests are similar but different. Similar, oh, I forgot a word. Okay, so I'm going to show you right here. I want to write similar to, but different from what? Tropical rainforests. Now, I hope you noticed from tropical rainforests that I was rereading as I was writing. I lose my place a lot, don't you? I forget where I am in my sentence. My brain is working really fast. My hand is a little bit slower. And so I want to make sure that I put that in my essay correctly. I formed my sentence correctly. And so I reread it. So I remember that I got all 3 parts. All right, boys and girls, we're on our last one. Your last topic sentence for T3, excuse me, is about saving the rainforest. And I think that would be very sad if we did not help protect the rainforest and we lost all of those plants and animals. And I remember reading back in the text set that the word was bleak that they used if you look in paragraph 8. But then I also noticed something about paragraph 8 that they used the word extinct. And I even see it down here. Sometimes you'll see the little note at the bottom, the little 4 or a number. And I want to use that. So I'm going to say, last but not least, it would be awful for rainforests to become
extinct, so we should protect them. Now, if I am going through my checklist, I have my transition word, last but not least. I have my prompt, rainforest, and then I have my topic, protect them. Now, I want you to see that my topic is saving the rainforest, but doesn't that mean the same thing? It does. So you can use synonyms and interchange those words, but you always have to make sure that you have your transition word, your prompt, and your topic. Boys and girls, we are out of time. Thank you so much for going so quickly with me. I look forward to next week where we're going to add to our middle paragraphs. Bye.